Hari Om. So here in the third chapter, we are talking about the Yagna spirit. And what is the Yagna spirit? People think of Yagna as offering in the fire, the ahutis, when the priest does the prayers, and that is, of course, Yagna. But Bhagavan Sri Krishna and Ved Vyasji in the Bhagavad Gita have given us a new definition of Yagna, where people get together and sinking their individual differences, sacrificing their individual selfishness, work on a project which benefits all. So when I work unselfishly for all without I, me, and my, I'm working in the Yagna spirit. And that is what we had talked last week, and how the whole world is sustained because of this Yagna spirit. When people work unselfishly for all, how the world works much better. And if people work for just I, me, and my, then the world becomes a selfish place. So we talked about that last week. Today, Bhagwan is going to continue this topic. And he had also talked about the devas, the celestial forces, how they nourish us if we offer our salutations, our nourishment to them, and how even the whole world works with that. So this we will continue today. So everybody can see the board. If you can't, please come on this side or on the front. Can you see the board? No, yeah. Whoever cannot see, please move up here if you can. Or even on this side, it's good. You can put the light on the middle one. Just press that button. Yeah, thank you. Everybody can see it? So chapter 3, verse number 12. Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha dasyante yajna bhavitaha taidattana pradayebhyaha yo bhunte stena eva saha. Chapter 3, verse number 12 together. Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha dasyante yajna bhavitaha taidattana pradayebhyaha yo bhunte stena eva saha. Ishtan bhogan. So Ishtan bhogan means whatever objects we desire, he voha to us. Bhagavan says to you, that means he's to us. Deva, these celestial forces, dasyante, they will give to us yajna bhavitaha, when we nourish them with the yajna spirit. So what does it mean by celestial forces will bless us when we nourish them with the yajna spirit? We'll talk about that. And then having got whatever we desired, given by the gods, by Lord himself, to think that I did it and I got it is a very limited view. It is ultimately God alone who works through me and through society to give it to me. So Taid Dattan, so whatever has been given to me by God, by the celestial forces, apradayebhyaha, one who does not give back, just keeps everything given. Yaha bhunkte, one who enjoys all that, what has been given to us by God, who enjoys it without sharing. Stena eva saha, he's a thief. So Bhagavan is using very strong language. He said, I earned it and I kept it. I'm still a thief. Bhagavan says, yes. So let us see how he means that. So yajna or deva is one is, of course, when I do offerings to the fire or when I worship the gods, I get the blessings. That we all know. But it's not limited only to that. It is whatever I offer, I get back. Last week we had talked about if I nourish the land, if I protect the land, don't overplow, over farm it, I get the blessings of the land, put the right fertilizers, put the right effort, even the air, even the water. If we don't pollute it, the water is pure, the air is pure. But if we pollute the air, if we pollute the water, if we overheat our earth as we are doing with global warming, then we will suffer the consequences of that. So that's why it says, if you nourish the celestial forces, the gods, that includes air, water, earth, they are all, worshipped as God in our Hindu Puranic thinking, where the original gods were these natural elements. And then later on, we had Bhagavan Sri Ram, Sri Krishna, and all of those other ones. So nourishing, not only that, but let us transfer it to the society, like dharma. They say there is a beautiful phrase. It says in Manusmriti, dharmo rakshita rakshitaha. One who protects dharma, dharma will protect him. So if I do the right things, if I act in the right way, if I'm honest, sincere, then the society will protect me. But if I am dishonest, I am cheating, and everybody starts doing that, then dharma will decline, society will decline. So the rise and fall of society happens when there is unselfishness, society gets better. When there is selfishness, the society dies, as we have studied in the Roman Empire also. When people were not thinking about the country, about themselves, the society perished, went down. And society means the people, society does not only mean that, but like, for example, I help organizations that are doing a lot of work, like say charitable organizations, spiritual, religious organizations, people that work for spreading religion, spreading the right knowledge, educational institutions, people that are working for handicapped, for orphans, for women who need help, or seniors who need help. So all these societies, all these communities, if I don't nourish them, then these societies will go down. So there will be no one to spread religion, or no one to teach, or no one to spread this, beautiful knowledge that Puja Gurudev has given to us from the Upanishads and from the Bhagavad Gita. So all these organizations, temples, orphanages, charitable homes, they all need to be supported. They need to be nourished for society to continue to do well. If I do not support them, then these organizations will die down and the work will stop. So that's why it is very important for us to give. That's why they have alumni, for our schools and colleges, where people give to their universities. Even in business, if you think about it, there is an owner of a business or a CEO, and his salary and his income is so much more than the average worker. I read somewhere that some of the CEOs make 1,000 times more than the lowest worker, and the owner, of course, a lot more. So what happens? They keep all the profits, and the lower people who are working have difficulty even making ends meet. And think about it. How is the owner making the profit? Because each person is doing his work. How is the CEO getting such a salary? Because the people on the lower levels are working. So one who keeps all the profit and does not bonus at the end of the year, most of the bonuses go to the top executives. The lower people maybe get $25, $50 Christmas bonus, and they think they're doing a great thing. But such a person is a thief. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, thief does not mean I go to somebody's house and steal their jewelry. Thief can be when I take more than I deserve. Even Gurudev in his commentary says the same thing, that for business to succeed, for society to succeed, the wealth has to be distributed to all. I mean, not that everybody should get the same. Yeah, there should be some difference between the top and the lower, but not to such an extent. So that is what they're saying, that people who think only take care of themselves are thieves, like somebody has a factory, you know, and that factory is polluting, emitting a lot of polluting smoke and, dirt and all. And when the inspector comes, he gives him a little money on the side and, he goes away. And this person said, I don't care if the pollution is happening, as long as my factory is producing, making money, that's all I care about. But think about it. When he's polluting the atmosphere, ultimately the air will become bad, people will get asthma, and he himself will suffer too in the long run. But people who think short-sighted, that me and my business alone is important, such a person is a thief. And society, what is society? Consists of people of all professions. There are business people, there are executives, there are, community leaders, government leaders. Then there are, firemen, teachers, police. All of those, different positions are there. And all are important. Every community is important. Every business is important. Every profession is important. But suppose teachers start thinking, what, teachers don't get paid enough. They don't get paid. They don't get paid like business people or like these executives. I'm also going to leave teaching and start my own business. Now, if all teachers start thinking like that, what will happen to society? We need teachers. Teachers are the life breath of society because they are the ones that are creating future generation. Same way here in Balvihar, we have all these volunteer teachers, and they're teaching these young children about their culture, their heritage, about Hinduism. So teachers are as important as any other profession, probably more important. So we have to make sure that teachers are compensated, they are respected, they are taken care of. Or people start thinking Sanskrit. Sanskrit is a dead language, thousands of years ago. Nobody talks Sanskrit. No. But if we don't nourish Sanskrit, then our knowledge of the scriptures will go down. Why do we use Sanskrit? We use it to study Upanishads, to study Bhagavad Gita, to study all our spiritual texts. So all these things have to be nourished. Lately, there has been a movement where more and more people are studying Sanskrit. And they are finding that Sanskrit is not only used for spiritual teaching, but it is very useful in advanced computers, in artificial intelligence, where that Sanskrit is the only language. So the point is that we have to nourish society, and then society will nourish us back. If I think of I, me, and myself, then slowly society will deteriorate. So that is what Bhagavan says, that work for the benefit of all, then the society will nourish you. And this teaching will be continued in the next verse, number 13. Yajna Shistashina Santaha Mutyante Sarva Kilbishaihi Gunjate Te Tvagam Papaha. ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात् यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तः मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः भुञ्जते ते त्वगं पापाः ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात्. So those yajna shishta shina means one who eats the remnants of yajna, remnants of sacrifice. One, of course, remnant is what, the prasad we get at the end of the yajna, but that is not the meaning in this particular section of the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan is not asking Arjuna to get down from his chariot and offer a yajna. He's telling him that this battle is also a yajna. So we'll talk about that. Yajna shishta shina. So those who eat the remnants of the prasad of the sacrifice. Santaha means the wise people, the good people, the kind, the loving, compassionate, the righteous people. What happens to them? Muchyante sarva kilbishaihi. Muchyante means they get freed from sarva kilbishai, from all sins. So one who eat the remnants of the sacrifice of the yajna, they get freed from all the sins. But how about people who only think about themselves? So bhunjate te. So these people, agham. Agham means sin. They eat sin. Papaha. These sinful people commit sin. Who ye pachanti atma karana. Those who only cook for themselves. So let us see what is the remnants. Remnants, of course, as we said, one is in the yajna, the priest gives prasad. But here, what it means is that when I work with the yajna spirit, when I community gets together and we work for the benefit of all, and at the end of my effort, say I'm starting some business or doing some work, and a lot of people are contributing, at the end, that business makes a profit or that enterprise does well, then I get some whatever is left over, right? After I have distributed, say I am an owner and I distribute to all my employees, or in a community effort where everybody works and I'm in charge of distribution, I distribute to all, and then what is left over, I keep. That is called the remnants of sacrifice. But if I start thinking, let me keep my share first, let me make sure I am well taken care of. And then whatever is left over, bacha to I'll distribute, nahi to I'll tell the employee, sorry, there was not much profit this year, so no bonus. So one is that I fairly distribute, and what is left, also we find in the house, the housewife, usually she will make sure everybody gets enough food and then she will eat. But if she thinks, let me put my good portion aside, for me, and I will distribute whatever is left. ठीक है, मिला तो मिला, and at the end, आराम से I will eat, then that is wrong. But same thing happens in the business. And that is what the wise person will make sure that he gives everybody an adequate share, and then he keeps. Not that he should live in poverty. He should also enjoy it, but not at the expense of all. So sharing is very important and not hoarding. See, people say, should I not keep what I earn? Yes, but not to the point of hoarding where I'm so much busy only in collecting that whatever I have collected, say I have earned, say a business owner has earned a lot of money from his business, say at the end of the year, he made $1 million. But how many people have worked? Say if he has 5,000 employees, each employee has contributed, even the janitor, even the clerk, even the peon, and the executives, and the sales people, and commercial people. So many people have worked for him to accumulate. So if he starts hoarding and thinking, it's my business, I'll keep whatever I earn, then such a person is a thief. That's why Bhagavan says he eats sin. Because if I only keep for myself, I do not share. And that's very important that even in a salary or wherever I am working, if I think, oh, this salary I earned, I keep it not for myself. No, but think about it. How many people have contributed? Say I became a doctor or an engineer or a computer programmer, my teachers, my parents, the whole society. I get the sun free, the water free, the air free. So I get so many things from society. To think that I only earn by my effort is foolish. So I should, part of whatever, everybody, no matter what level of income we have, certain amount must be given every month, every year to charity. That's very important. And find a suitable organization that is doing good work for the community and share it and give it. Even a small amount, even if you can give $5, $10, based on the income. So giving is very important. If I keep everything, then Bhagavan says, Pachanti Atmakaranat, those who cook only for themselves, they eat sin. Now our scriptures tell us there are 5 kinds of yagnas. There is Deva Yagna, Rishi Yagna, Pitru Yagna, Manushya Yagna, and Bhuta Yagna. So Deva Yagna means from the gods, from nature. I get so much. So I have to express my gratitude to nature by, as we said, by sharing, by giving others. Then Rishi Yagna, Rishi Rin, we have a debt to our rishis who have given us all this knowledge, starting from the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita, all the way down to our Puja Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananda, Swami Tejomayananda ji, all the acharyas, Swami Ishwar Nanda. So we owe a debt of gratitude to our rishis for who have preserved this knowledge for thousands of years. And from Sanskrit, they have translated into English, made it easy for us. So how do we pay back our rent to rishis? By sharing this knowledge. Whatever knowledge I have, let me share it. That maybe if I cannot teach, I can distribute books. I can buy Bhagavad Gita and give it to people in a wedding. Wedding, when couple is getting married, the best gift you can give is a Bhagavad Gita. That may you in your married life read Bhagavad Gita. Or for children, giving them children's good books. So spreading this knowledge and myself studying and living that knowledge and applying it in my life is how I pay back Rishi Rin. Then Pitru Rin, they have given us so many traditions, our culture. I pass it on to future. I don't think this is old fashioned. No, Shraddha, expressing my gratitude. So that is Pitru Rin. Then Manushya Rin. As we said, so many people have contributed to my success. So making sure I help other humans, other communities, other people, and seeing God in everybody, that is Manushya Rin. And then last is Bhuta Rin. Bhuta Rin means even animals, birds, plants, fish, all those. They all are contributing to my welfare. Animals are doing so much. Even the little worms, how they till the ground, and they are important. So everything that Bhagwan has created is important. So giving back to the environment, making sure I don't unnecessarily destroy trees, cutting trees, not overusing paper. So preserving the environment is also called Bhutarin. So all these 5 we have to do. Devas for the rishis, for parents, for humans, and for other beings. And regular donation, regular sharing is very important. Also, we find that in studies, like this, I had heard somewhere that in India many years back, it used to cost 17 lakhs to make one IIT graduate. And now it's probably gone up to 40, 50 lakhs because they need teachers, they need administrators, professors, building, and the tuition doesn't cover it. And so much money is spent. Now that IIT graduate thinks, I am graduated with my own studies, I don't need to give back, then that is a sin. Or here also we find that in the community colleges, in the city and the state colleges, the tuition doesn't cover all the expenses and the government subsidizes. Now, government is who? Government doesn't print money. It is money that all of us pay in taxes. And that money that we pay for state taxes, for county taxes, for, all that money is utilized to run all these community colleges, state college. So a person who graduates should not think, I studied, I graduated. So it is important that after we graduate from our educational institution, we should not forget the institutions and we should not forget society. I should not think that whatever I worked, I studied, I earned. No, a part of that must be given. I must give back because society has done so much for us. The same way, how does it apply to Arjuna? Arjuna was a warrior. He was a great warrior. And from a childhood, he had been trained to be a warrior. So much effort had been put by his guru, like Dronacharya, Kripacharya, by his parents, by Bhishma, Pitama. And so much money, time, effort was spent to make him a great warrior. And also the other one. So Arjuna to think that now I can leave and go away is sinful. Bhagavan tells him, because you were made a warrior to protect dharma, to do the right action. And now is the chance for you to protect dharma, to work for the benefit of all. And because the evil forces are becoming very powerful and the weaker forces, the good forces are becoming weaker, they are suffering. And if you don't fight for the weak, for the good, for the dharmic people, you will be running away from your duty. You will be doing sinful activity. Arjuna was saying, by fighting, I'm going to do sinful activity. Bhagavan says, by running away from your duty, you will be doing a sinful activity. Recently, I heard about a small town newspaper in a small town in Midwest. And where there was only one newspaper, it was a city smaller than Bakersfield. And so that newspaper barely made it. Not people buy news, many people buy newspapers, but it was managing. And in that newspaper, there were articles about sports and politics and, weather and all those things were there in that little newspaper. And other journalists, were getting jobs in that newspaper. In fact, there were journalism students who were coming from the neighboring town to work in that newspaper to learn. It so happened that the chief financial officer of that newspaper decided that I should take money because there was very little staff, so nobody was questioning him. So he slowly started emptying all the bank account of the newspaper, completely emptied it, and he was using it for travel, for buying things, and for his personal, sharing or doing all those things, whatever, affairs and this and that he was doing. And he stopped paying the, whatever the bills started coming, he stopped paying the bills also. So after a few months, the bills piled up. And then suddenly they discovered there is no money and they caught him. But by then it was too late. He had already spent all the money. So the newspaper was without money. They couldn't pay the employees. They couldn't pay their bills. They couldn't buy newspaper, print and all. And so the newspaper went out of business. So not only the community lost its source of news, they used to hear about their sports kids and what they're doing. And all that was gone. The journalists lost job, the other students who were coming. So one individual, when he decided to work for I, me, and myself, creates so much havoc. So that's what they say, that one who only thinks about himself, he is a sinful person. Ye who pachanti atma karana, those who only work for themselves. So it's very, very strong words Bhagavan is using, calling these people sinners and calling them thief. So, but very, very practical shlokas. I will go to number 14. 14 and 15 talk about this cycle of creation. So we'll do them separately, even though Gurudev has put them together. I'll cover them separately. Number 14. Annat bhavanti bhutani parjanyadanna sambhavah yajñāt bhavati parjanyah yajña karma samudbhavah annāt bhavanti bhutani parjanyadanna sambhavah yajñāt bhavati parjanyah yajña karma samudbhavah. So Bhagavan says that where do beings come from? How do beings get nourished? Annat bhavanti bhutani. From anna, from grain, food, comes beings, right? How are beings created? On food? Like the mother and father ate, and that's how the child was nourished in the womb, created and born. So the child came from food that was eaten by mother and father. And then throughout life, we are nourished by food. If you don't eat for a few days, you can't function. And if you don't eat longer, you won't be alive. So beings are nourished by food. And beings come forth from food. So food, we are all made of food. Our body and all is all food made out of whatever I have eaten, that has become my body. And then where does food come from? Parjanya, from rain, right? Without rain, there won't be any food. There won't be any crops. There won't be any vegetables, fruits, grains. And not only that, even animals like, cows and chickens and all of those who are non-vegetarian, even the animals are nourished by food. Without food, there won't be any animals. And from rain comes food, and from food comes all the beings. Now the next one is a little controversial. Yajñāt bhavati parjanya. So where does rain come? Rain comes from yajna. Well, they say, how does, so we'll explain what do they mean by it. Rain comes from yajna, and yajna comes from karma, from action. So we see, as we know, food is created from rain. People have no doubt about that, right? That is very clear. And from food, the whole society is nourished, from humans, animals, birds, plants, fish, humans. Everybody is nourished from food. Not only that, but food is recycled. So say a tree grows big because it is start with the seed and is nourished by food from the earth for a tree to grow. And when the tree becomes very old and it can no longer function and there's a windstorm and it falls. So the tree falls, then what happens? It becomes part of the earth. It goes back into the earth, and animals who are dying, in the forest, everywhere, their body becomes food because it comes back into the earth. Even humans, when they are buried or cremated, the remnants become part of the earth. So it is a recycling. From the food comes the trees, animals, birds, plants, fish, and then when they die, they go back into the earth. So the earth there's a constant recycling. And as we said, food comes from rain. Now there is no doubt about that. Rain is the one. And Gurudev calls rain as the productive potential, the productive power, the energy because of which the whole world is sustained, right? Without rain, the world would not be sustained. You cannot drink salty water. In fact, in Ramayana, there is an episode where Ramchandraji is sitting in his kutia and Hanuman and Angad and Jambavan, the three of them, the monkey leaders, are sitting at the banks of the ocean, on the edge of the ocean, because they have already reached Rameshwara, that place, and they have to now cross to Lanka. And the fruits and all are there. There are thousands of monkeys. They have eaten the fruits. And even water is in short supply at that time. And they are looking and they're saying, we have so much salt water, but we can't drink it. So water has to be purified. So how does water get purified? By the sun. So the sun purifies, the heats the ocean, water evaporates, goes into the cloud, and then we get sweet water. So from the salty water, it is the sun's energy that purifies the water. So there is the nature is participating in that also. Even in our life, if we want to progress, we have to purify. Like my mind, which is full of anger, greed, jealousy, hatred, all those things. If I don't purify, then my mind will be more selfish. With selfishness, I want this, I want that. So I have to purify my mind by doing Karma Yoga, by doing unselfish deeds. I have to purify my mind, and with a pure mind, I will progress. So talking about anger, there was this husband who used to always get very angry with his wife. He used to shout at her, get very mad. And she would never say anything. Very calmly, she would do all her work and never, fight back or shout back. So one day he was in a calm mood and he started thinking, I yell at my wife, but she never says anything. She never gets angry. How does she do it? So he asks her, I know I have been getting angry with you a lot, but you never get angry. Don't you get angry? She says, yeah, sometimes I do. So he says, how do you take out your anger? So she says, I clean the toilet bowl. So he said, by cleaning toilet bowl, your anger goes? She says, yeah, I use your toothbrush. So we have to be careful. Don't get angry with your wives. You don't know what will happen. So the point is that anger, greed, all of this selfishness are bad, and we have to purify our mind to serve society, to make the world a better place. So for example, the river comes down from the mountain, and if it goes into the ocean, it's a waste. But if we put a dam, spend money, and then that dam is utilized to save water, and then that water is distributed to the cities, to crops, to nourish the earth. So that is all yagna spirit, where people get together, money is put in there to build a dam. So that is also a yagna spirit, where the resources are being used for the benefit of all instead of being wasted. And so this whole thing is a cycle. I put in society lately, we have these terrible fires. And part of the reason is that we haven't put right effort. We have not been cleaning the, over vegetation, because there was so much rain in the last 3 years. And this year there is a drought. So everything is hot with global warming. We have warmed up the earth, and with the hot winds coming, even a small spark can create a big fire. And then I know this is a little political, but a lot of the rainwater is sent into the ocean to save some fish, billions of gallons. Now that water, we could make good dams and send the water down to the south for our land, for our crops, for agriculture. And the cities, in fact, the reservoirs in Los Angeles were run out of water. There was no water in the hydrant. If that water had been saved and sent, used in the north, there is plenty of water. There is heavy rain. but that water should be conserved and sent down south instead of putting it in the ocean. Yeah, of course you have to, but to save some little fish, if we are wasting billion, so that is misuse of our resources. So that is not proper application. So that's why they say that this one. Now, how does rain come? They say rain comes from yajna. Now people question. So many people, places there is no rain. How does you say rain comes from yajna? So one is that our Vedas have lot of prayers. When done correctly, when the yajna is performed correctly, it can cause rain. And there is a Parjanya Sukta in our Upanishad, in our Puranas, where by chanting, when it is done by a priest who is pure minded, when he's doing it with the right attitude and the community is all working with the right attitude, actually rain can happen. But again, as we said, Gurudev says rain does not only mean rain from the sky. What it means is all the good things that are happening in society. Good things can happen in society only when people are doing good things, when people work together. So rain is not only rain falling from the sky, but all our resources, our water that we use wisely and don't waste it. So that whole cycle, so from the effort, the rain falls, or the good things happen in society. With that good things happen, crops grow, then people eat. So the whole cycle is going on. And again, the cycle starts from God, and that we will do in the next shloka. So sharing what we have and conserving our resources, not wasting water, not polluting, not, food we should not waste. So, and not buying things that we don't need, unnecessarily buying more clothes than we need. My phone is working fine. I go buy a new phone. My, car is running fine, but every 3 years I have to trade in, and all those things we are wasting resources. So conserving resources and then using that for the recycling, recycling our plastics, our papers, so all those things help society to get better. So this is not only yajna in the fire, but how this shloka can be translated into our day-to-day life and how it can benefit us. When I read Gurudev's commentary and then some other commentaries, I was so taken aback that how beautifully this whole cycle has been given to us by Bhagavan Sri Krishna, that from food comes people, food comes from rain comes from yajna, and yajna means from all our combined activities. And all that comes from karma, from right action. So where does karma come from? So in the last shloka of today, number 15, karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishthitam. Together. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishthitam. So they said yajna comes from karma. So that's why karma means when all work together unselfishly, that is yajna. So where is karma come from? They say karma comes from Brahma. Now this Brahma has many meanings. We'll discuss what are the meanings. Brahmodbhavam, it is created from Brahma. Vidhi. Vidhi means know that karma comes from Brahma. And where does Brahma come from? Akshara, imperishable. Samudbhavam, it is arises from the imperishable. Imperishable means the total reality, Brahman, the total substratum of the universe. Tasmat, therefore, Sarvagatam Brahma, this Brahman, this consciousness which is all pervading, Sarvagatam Brahma, Nityam Yagne Pratishtitam. It is always established, stays in Yagna. So what does that mean? So Aksharam is this supreme reality, Brahman. You can see that on the board if you need to follow. So Aksharam means the imperishable, the Brahman, the consciousness, the substratum of the entire universe. The supreme Lord, you can call that. Now that Aksharam, imperishable, Brahman, from him comes Brahmaji, the creator. The creator of the universe, Brahmaji, comes from, as we, they give the example of Bhagwan Vishnu's Navi. From his, it came a lotus, flower, and on top was Brahmaji. And then Brahmaji was given the knowledge to create. And last week we had studied that even the creation is a yagna. Brahmaji, when he creates, he does a yagna to create. So Brahmaji comes from the imperishable, here in this case, Bhagwan Vishnu, the all-pervading. But Brahmaji does not only mean the creator. Brahma, the word Brahma is also used for Vedas, our scriptures. Brahma is also used for the Brahmana, Jati. Brahma is also used for Vedas. So Vedas are also called Brahma because they came from God. And Vedas have all our instructions, how to work in the world, not only how to do prayers, sacrifices, but how to actually work. Whatever work we do, how to do the work, with what attitude, all that comes from the Vedas. And from the Vedas come karmas. So what actions I should do, what I should not do, that in the Christianity, it is 10 commandments. All the religions, there is actions of what should be done, what should not be done, how I can make my life better and make the community better. That's why last week Bhagavan said that Shreya, what is Shreyas, what is good for all, happens when we follow the scriptures. When we follow the scriptures, because the scriptures have everything. Manu Smriti even has every detail of how a husband should work, wife, children, business people, workers, community leaders, everything is there. So all our scriptures teach us how to work in the world, work unselfishly. So, and the scriptures come from Bhagavan, right? Because the rishis did not write the Vedas. In their meditation, they heard the knowledge, and that's why it's called Shruti. They heard the knowledge, and when they heard it, then that knowledge they understood and they passed on to their disciples. So from teacher to student. So it was passed on orally. So that's why it is called Shruti. It was heard. And then later on, Vedyasji came and said that this knowledge needs to be written down, otherwise it will be lost. So then the scriptures came to be written. Otherwise, they were transferred from Bhagwan to the rishis and from rishis to the student. So karma all came from God himself. Then yajna, and then came the teaching of the yajna spirit, how we should work together. Then only society will progress. When people work together, if everybody does their own thing, then society won't work. And then from that, as we studied, when people do yajna, rain can fall. Rain also means the success of society, all the good things happening in society. That is, Gurudev translates that as rain. So all the good things happen when people work together. The food comes from that, and from the food, people come. So Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma, this all-pervading conscious reality that we call as Aksharam, the imperishable, indirectly is there in everywhere. He's there in the creator, and then the creator, and then the Vedas. It is there in the Vedas. It is there in Vedas tell us how to act, and how to act with the yagna spirit. And then that creates welfare of all. Food is not only food to eat, but whatever we are using in our life, all the resources, all the things are created out of food, and people live and nourished by this food. So that's why they say that when we do actions unselfishly for others without I, me, and my, you can see Bhagwan in them. And all these great social workers, these great spiritual masters, when they worked for our benefit, for our health, then you can see Bhagwan in them. That's why we worship them. That's why we say Bhagwan Raman Maharishi, like that. Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda, Pujya Guruji. So we worship and revere these great masters, same way Jesus is worshipped as the Son of God. So all these great masters and teachers, when they give us this knowledge and nourish us, then we revere them. So that's what they say, that from this so that is what we should do. So that is the message of today's talk, that let me work for the benefit of society unselfishly without I, me, and my. And if all of us do that, society will become a paradise. If all of us become selfish, then we will perish like the Roman Empire. And same thing will happen to the earth also. If people just become selfish and work for myself, don't care about environment, don't care about water, don't care about global warming, then soon earth will also perish. So it is up to us. Each one of us has to put our effort to make this world a better place. So not what the world can give me, but what I can give. That is very important. Not what I can get, but what I can give. We get plenty from nature, from the sun, air, water. It's all free from, all the plants, everything grows by Bhagwan's grace from the earth. So we get plenty, especially in this country. Everybody is well taken care of. You don't have to worry about running hot water and bathrooms, and so many countries don't have toilets. That's why Modi ji, that was the first thing he did when he came to power more than 10 years ago. He said, I'm going to build a toilet in every village. Can you imagine that villages had no toilet? So that was his main project. He said every village must have at least one toilet. So think about it, that we are so blessed compared to, the rest of the world. So we should not take it for granted, but we should share, we should give others. So I'll end here. Very beautiful shlokas, very practical, how we can make this world a better place. If anybody has questions or comments, I have a hello. Yeah, I have a loudspeaker. If anybody would like to add, Kusum, you have any questions or comments, or anybody else? Yeah, Jeff, we can, and then also from the Zoom, please unmute if you would like to talk, or just say hello, then we will know. But we'll have first the audience here speak.
Hari Om. Don't have it, but I think it's the cosmic wheel of action is so very nicely outlined in this one, especially in the last two lines. I was really surprised. And it says here, the principle of right action may even the power to act has come out of the Creator himself, as we said, that from the imperishable, the action has come out. And so action is the newborn live baby. Action is a gift from the Creator. So if we think that all the actions that I do, it's because I'm dedicating to Him, because it's coming from Him.
Right.
That is the Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. Plus, if I don't expect any results, but whatever comes, I accept it as a prasad, then it really becomes Karma Yog for me, and I can just have everybody do the same, and the society will really flourish, and we can just follow this cosmic wheel of action, which Buddha has described so well. And Lord Krishna has told us, according to our Swadharma, whatever we can do the best. So for Arjuna, it was to fight a war. For us, we have to fight our own life and do all the things. So I think the message is very, very clear. And it's very inspiring for us because the action is the only thing that we can do, but we can choose what we want to do, not and how we want to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very good. Actually, in the movie Lion King,
Yeah,
they say the circle of life. The movie Lion King, they talk about the whole circle of life. So beautifully it is shown. That's why sometimes we think these are children movies, but they have so much message. So that's another example. I was also thinking about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Also about how Lord Vishnu invited us.
You can speak on the mic, yeah.
Here's the story about how Lord Vishnu once invited for a big feast at his place all the asuras and devas. And he had a stupendous food and all the big feast. And only one condition was that they cannot use their elbows to eat.
The elbow was stuck. Yeah.
They cannot. So the asuras and devas were like, oh, how are we going to eat if we cannot, bend our elbows? So the asuras were very angry and they were fighting with each other and everything. But the devas, they were smart. They sat across each other and fed everybody like this. So one fed this and the other one fed. And they had a good time. So it's like sharing. If you share, you're going to get it. But if you eat it yourself, you know where to get it.
Yeah.
I think it was beautiful. It was good.
That's a very good example. Thank you. Anybody else in the hall here? Any other comments? Anybody would like to add? No? How about on Zoom? Can you unmute if anybody would like to add anything? Lata, Carrie, anything? You have any comments? Please unmute or start talking, then we know.
I had one question. This is Carrie. I had some questions. I noticed that the Sikh community is have kind of a yajna, and they've been raising funds and just things that some of the people, maybe not the people that lived in the Palisades, but some of the people in Los Angeles might be needing. And I was wondering if I don't know if Chinmaya is doing any kind of a yajna to help people in the LA basin. If people need it, we should.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we can, we haven't thought about it. We can discuss. Hello, can you hear? Am I on the mic still on? Yeah, so yeah, that's something we can discuss and we can do some fundraising. That's a good idea. Thank you. Yeah, we'll discuss it in the board and we'll make an appeal. Any other questions, comments? Lata, anything you have to add? You're back. Welcome back. Or are you still in India?
I'm on Indian time, so I am not thinking clearly, but I will have something to add next time. Thank you.
All right, so we'll end here. If there's nobody has any question, any comment? Okay, we'll end.
Thank you very much for your explanation and emphasizing how important it is to share. And thank you, Carrie. I was going to say the same thing, that we should all try to donate for the benefit of people who have unfortunately lost everything.
Yeah, good idea. Yes.
Thank you.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhagave Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Yeah, this our prayer, this Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. So we can all start with prayer and then of course do concrete. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina means everybody be happy. Sarve santu niramaya. May everybody be free from disease. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. May everybody have good luck. Na kaschit dukha bhag bhave. No one have sorrow. So we should all pray for them, and then whatever we can to donate, to give, we must do that. Thank you very much. See you next week. We will continue. And now Bhagwan Sri Krishna will talk about the wise people, how they function and how they work. And so we'll do that next week. Thank you. Hari Om.